And Collingwood live from IKON Park on 7 VFL's Match of the Day.
O'Keefe rucking for the Blues. Oscar Steen returning from a pre-season concussion and facial fracture is into the fray for the Pies, and it's Long hunting it early for the black and white. Harrison is on the scene as well, not quite into the back of Maher. It bobbles around. Ed Allen couldn't get a handle on it. The Blues could, but only momentarily. McRae distributes to Allen. The kick was smothered. The powerful Harrison handballs forward. Johnson's got players lengthening the ground, but he was legged anyway. Ned Long's told to pause by his teammates, and Johnson will get an early look.
Good hustle there out of the midfield. Plenty of pressure. They just forced that ball forward, and the tackle did slide down. It started around the hips and just came down legged. Johnson, we mentioned just off the top of the show how important he's going to be this afternoon with his ability to hit the scoreboard. Gets a perfect opportunity here in the first minute.
Played the opening 2 matches of the AFL season for the Pies. Since then, a major against the Zebras in the opening match of the VFL season, are behind a fortnight ago in the Pies. Close loss to Brisbane, 14-10 in 8 matches at VFL level last season, to go alongside a yield of 21-10 from 15 AFL starts to give Collingwood the beginning they seek.
It's always a pretty good indicator that the tackle got down around the ankles when the boot comes off, Nudge. He'd be disappointed in that, Ash. Would have been the perfect start for the Pies.
So Lockie Cowan, who might spin the mix for an AFL opportunity without Mitch McGovern and Adam Sard. We'll get more from Andrew McCormack on the latest AFL news in a moment. Cowan goes long. Steen flies over the top of O'Keefe, who wins it on the deck. Here's Tom Phillips, one of Carlton's new faces. O'Keefe. Stripped of it there was Maher. Great to see him back. The first gamer, Connor Willis. In fact, it was Cooper McDonald, the first gamer rather. Gets his first touch. Here's Phillips. Long towards the wing. Here's Moyer, exciting young Carlton prospect. Carl. Liam McMahon, the former Magpie, but he turns it over. It's chopped off by Lockie Sullivan.
Who's another, no doubt, pushing his credentials for an AFL debut, the former Footscray VFL star, and his chance with an SSP signing in February. Markov to Glover, who's behind the ball, puts it into the hands of Long, and Collingwood in motion and exploring the city side for the first time this afternoon. Bytel's kick hung, and that's Lemmy getting a fist in. And we've seen him, of course, play some forward in his opening year on the Blues list as pick 47 in the 2022 draft. He's playing back at the moment. He had 4 intercept marks and 4 spoils against the Roos in round 2.
Yeah, he's a big frame, isn't he? 201 centimetres. Being able to get that versatility forward, ruck and back could be crucial for his development.
O'Keefe at the front. Here's Farinado, the first gamer. Mark is paid. In fact, sorry, Randall was a push in the back. Here's Moyer. Just trots casually, laconically to 45 metres out. Puts it across the face. Minor score as we head boundary side to Andrew McCormack. Macca. Disappointing loss for the Blues yesterday, and it came at a cost.
Yeah, 2 key injuries for the Blues. They were at least sidelined for a couple of weeks. Adam Sard and Mitch McGovern, they'll definitely miss the Giants game, and then potentially more. Lockie Cowan and Lewis Young, probably the next cab off the rank from a VFL perspective for the Blues.
Thanks, Macca. Cooper McDonald debuted for Casey in the VFL last year against the Pies. Premiership player with Roval in the Eastern League. His first game in the black and white this afternoon. A quay amongst the Flyers. It got off the shoulder of Lockie Young, who looks for an exit strategy and can't find one. McRae and Begg working in tandem. The ruck will take the free.
5 tackles to 1 for the Pies. They've really brought that energy around the football.
Begg not the required 15. Jaff short for McRae. That was the required trip. That's come off hands. Long marks. Some James Aish areas. Ned Long off. A super game for the Big V last week to Jaff. Deep go the Pies. Johnson couldn't get a fly. There's a crumb there. It's Tom Wilson. And it's come off hands. The former Northern Bull Ant great, seeking his 100th VFL goal this afternoon.
Here's Billy Wilson with the kick-in duties. Exciting, explosive, pacey youngster. Blues very excited about him as a medium-term prospect. Lewis Young goes long. That's a really good grab. Up goes Cooper McDonald. That's a lovely take. Turned 22 last Thursday, making his VFL debut this afternoon. He launches it high inside 50. Young came over the top. Cowan tracks it at ground level. Well played Richards, rode the bump. Harrison got a bad handball. Long, left foot snap is good. Pies get the opening goal.
A memo to AFL clubs. He's wearing number 55.
Select him.
He is 21 years old. He's 194 centimetres. They do not grow on trees.
Truck assist replay, Brownie. If Ned Long stays fit and continues the form he's in, he surely ends up back on an AFL list mid-year.
Limited opportunity at the Hawks, but big-bodied mid. But if he can go forward and start kicking goals like we saw in the state game and like we've seen this afternoon, it's just going to make the recruiters absolutely lick their lips and think we've got a real prospect here with a bit of versatility.
I imagine he wouldn't have looked out of place from your respective vantage points last night in the brown and gold. Sullivan popped the handball wider afield to Sparks. Just a bit too deep there for Carmichael. Lockie Young got a fist on it. Wilson sees it to the chalk. Want to take a moment to send our deepest sympathies to everyone impacted by the tragic events in Sydney yesterday afternoon, and it's something that's impacted the football family, with Ashley Good, one of the people who lost their lives in tragic circumstances yesterday afternoon, the daughter of former North Melbourne player and director in Kerry Good. So an outpouring of emotion across the game this afternoon as Lockie Young's taken to the deck by Sparks.
Tackle pressure's been a real standout here in the first 7 minutes of this game.
O'Keefe. Begg on the ground. Here's Binns. Must be closing in on an AFL opportunity as well after some great form last year and starting again in 2024. Swooping in was Long. Tackle laid there by Archie Stevens, but Long ends up finding the football again. Nice delivery. Finds Wilson. Wilson chips down the line and Carmichael can't quite control it.
Just a wasted opportunity there to drive the ball inside 50. Carmichael working into the space and Wilson couldn't quite find him. They'd set up really well defensively, the Carlton backman.
It's going to be critical this afternoon. Collingwood got such explosive runners out of congestion. Priority one for the Blues is to set up around these stoppages and ensure the Pies can't just bust the game open from there. Binns is kicked towards the wing. McMahon cuts back inside. It was smothered off his boot by Long, picked up by McRae. He gives it off to Campbell Lane, who goes inside 50. That one's going to be picked off, or is it? Wilson left it behind. The Blues with some work to do defensively now. Lemmy there. Swooping in was Cowan. He delivers backwards to Young, and the Blues can escape.
Try and settle things down through Lewis. This kick will comb the boundary line and put into the hands of Marr.
Good grab.
What a welcome return to the lineup he is after the ACL against the Cats to start his VFL 2023 campaign. Monahan back to Marr. So Blues looking to establish some control and some field position. Nelson, former Coburg player, to the classy Moyer. McMahon with several to beat, just had to make a contest, did just that. But there was just nowhere near the execution required there.
There's good composed possession. They're slow going out of the back half. Hit some lead-up players, then they got some speed on the ball with a handball received. Just not to a dangerous spot there inside the forward 50.
Will White, 20-year-old from South Warrnambool, playing his second VFL game this afternoon. Just as Carlton's second of the season. They had a bye in round one, then of course gather round, so it's been a stop-start for them as they try to build some early season rhythm and chemistry. This is Harry Lemmy, who is improving at a rate of knots for the Blues. Started as a forward, playing more in defence this year. Chips towards the top of the square. There's a hold. It's going Carlton's way. Liam McMahon, the former Magpie, will have it. One of the more experienced players in the lineup this afternoon, playing game 44.
And that is plucked out of thin air because there was absolutely no contact made at all to Liam McMahon. I think the umpire guessed, and he guessed wrong. And it's a perfect way to start for the former Pie if he can go back and kick this. Extraordinary.
It's a goal apiece at IKON Park. I can only think that maybe it was just before the replay began and he was held on the way into that contest.
Might need to have another look at that, I think. Four inside 50s apiece. Good even contest here so far. Nice even contest here, 4 inside 50s apiece, just looking for any form of hold on Liam McMahon, and no, it's not there on the truck assist replay.
Well, the hold, if anything's beg on Hudson O'Keefe.
He got a clean run at it.
Which is why I think Hudson was putting his hands up saying, is it mine?
Rightly so.
1 goal apiece and some good ball movement.
Spent the first 6 rounds in defence last year, Liam McMahon, but returned to his natural habitat as a forward and finished the season with 18 goals. Gets one on his return here as Sparks is under lock and key. And the Kuipers tackle. Blake Kuipers was an emergency but brought into the team with Mark Pitternet late in yesterday afternoon as the Blues went down narrowly to the Crows in the AFL. Hammered by Carmichael to Sullivan, who shrugs the tackle again. That was really well worked by Sparks with the ground ball. Wilson spun in his tackle. Cowan running at the game. Lewis Young figures it out eventually to Kuipers, who let the first wave go past and found space forward. Monaghan, an Irishman, picking up the game in good fashion and bullets the kick deep. 2 to beat here. And unfortunately, Lambert wasn't able to make sufficient impact on Glover and co.
Good power in the Monaghan kick.
Well, his first VFL goal, Jace, which was his first VFL kick in the match against North Melbourne on Good Friday. 50 metres out, and it carried another 10.
Markov thumps it long. 3 players up in that contest for the Blues.
He's come from the usual melting pot of different sports in Ireland, but clearly Gaelic football part of the mix, and he played forward in the Gaelic game, so seems to have the right idea about that spatial awareness forward of the ball.
Bit of hurling, bit of rugby as well. So this is just his 2nd game of Australian rules football. But some tools to work with there, no doubt. The pressure from the Blues around the stoppage again. That was Ferranato on that occasion. And Brownie, we've already seen Carlton with a real defensive mindset. They just can't afford to let Collingwood get out on the spread this afternoon.
Yeah, well, that's one of Collingwood's main assets, isn't it? Winning the ball around the stoppages and then exploding out. That's what Josh Fraser likes them to do. So they've just got to keep that ring around the Pies mids here at the stoppage.
Now a VFL throwback down at Princes Park. Carlton Collingwood, the hard yakka tops in the crowd. And he's paid that insufficient intent.
Yeah, he just didn't disguise that well enough. He was probably close enough to the boundary just to let it trickle over, but basically threw it over.
Ryan Sparks to half forward. Young and Young. Free kick Magpies. It's going to Ash Johnson. Lockie Young not happy. Young and the restless. Sparks calls his shot. It's to the top of the square. Might just drop short. Aquay comes out, and important that he did. Lewis couldn't get an effective handball, but does lay an effective tackle on Wilson. And Aquay just got there in the nick of time.
There's a bit reactionary there from the Carlton defenders. They should have known exactly that pocket of space where the kick was going to go to. Nearly got caught out.
Bytel was stripped. The tackle had lingered, though.
Free kick for in the back, the umpire signal.
Yep.
So Lockie Young grimacing. He didn't think there was too much in it. Let's have a look here. Just did fall into the back.
So 7th in Sandringham's best and fairest last year from 10 games, went on St Kilda's list. He played 22 games at the highest level with the Saints. Another who's got his opportunity via the supplementary selection period to give Collingwood back the advantage. He does, but only by a single digit. And almost akin to the Ash Johnson miss to start the game, Brownie. Very little motion through the kick.
They've had some good looks, the Pies. A couple of set shots. Haven't been able to convert.
Lead it by a point early. Cowan launches that one. Big fly over the top there from Glover. Gets out the back to Jath. He hits the corridor, and it'll work well here for Richards. Opens up the forward 50 for Collingwood. You can see Carlton have got a lot of traffic. So we'll take the short option to Markov. Can Oleg find someone in space, or will he just bomb it long in the Crocker and Johnson direction? He wants to change the angle. Crocker sits down. Hutchinson, the big fly over the top. His ability to take a big mark, his reputation precedes him. But on this occasion, the Blues can clear it through Kuipers.
His kick won't clear the danger. Long to Jath. McRae in close confines to Glover, who's dragged down in a tackle. Lemmy playing in front, getting him from behind, but infringing in the process.
Almost impossible to spoil that ball when Lemmy gets a run and jump with full arm extension.
Lewis Young playing real estate agent. Chips for Tom Phillips, former Pie who was on Thomas VFL list last year. Can this open things up? Cowan has to space it and working after it on the bounces bins. He's putting it in reverse on his left, can slice the kick inboard. It had to be precise. Lambert got it, but might cough it up. Jath. Wilson, long. Bytel, all short, all neat. McRae, now Richards, who's been a goal kicker through the first couple of rounds, can bisect a couple of Blues and find a former one in Crocker.
Yeah, beautiful football. Well thought through on that occasion, and Benny Crocker, who's gone back to the Pies. It's a really good look here in the first term to just give them the scoreboard dominance that they probably deserved.
Of course, drafted to Collingwood in 2015, 45 games, 84 goals across the previous 3 seasons as a VFL Blue. We'll know every inch of IKON Park and what's required to get on the score sheet now as a VFL Pie. And Ben Crocker, remarkably, may have more tattoos than last season.
It's almost running out of real estate, isn't he?
Track assist replay, that just being able to bring that ball back through the corridor, open up so many options. Really smart football. Joe Richards could have blazed away, but he looked into the pocket. Found noted goal kicker in Benny Crocker, and the track assist replay. He's happy. He's happy with that. Always nice to kick one against your former club.
Second only to Tom Wilson in this game for VFL experience. O'Keefe got the tap. Ma got it to Ferranato, and his kick is tidy to White. Now Phillips on his preferred left. The dangerous Ned Carl soccers goalward. Markov in best position to try and tidy things up for the Pies. He's put his man under enormous pressure, though.
That is just called transferring the pressure. I don't want to borrow this. I'm just going to give it to the closest opponent, and you can wear it. But it was smart because it was close to the boundary line.
Campbell Lane worked to the line by Monaghan. And no harm done for the Pies. Steen gets rid of Kuipers. Here is Campbell Lane again with not much space to work in, and he's turned it over. We get to see Monaghan's kicking power again, and from what we've seen, Brownie can go back and slot this.
Well, he'll get the journey, the Irishman. No doubt about that. Second ever game of AFL footy, so he will just improve with every minute, every quarter, every game that he plays. He's going to go right back and give this an almighty ride.
Superb athlete. We've seen his power. 55, just got under that one.
Yeah.
It'll drop short. O'Keefe's there for the Blues. It's off hands. It's still in a dangerous spot for Carlton. Can they manufacture something? Phillips goes to ground. And the Blues will get another free kick.
Yeah, they just put their head over the footy then. It wasn't the greatest strike from Monaghan. It fell just short enough, though, to keep the ball alive. And you can see there that right hand over the shoulder. Clear free kick on that occasion. Umpire spot on. And White can go back and kick his first goal in VFL footy.
His first this afternoon.
Well, he's not going to miss this.
Kick one in his debut game against North.
He got a 50, so that's an absolute gift now.
So the Blues will get their second. And it's 2 apiece at IKON Park. Great to have you with us on 7+. Live streaming the best of State League footy on 7 VFL, 7 Sandful and 7 Waffle. Live every weekend and on demand, the entire back catalogue there as well. Lots of great State League footy to enjoy, and it's all live and free on 7+. Here's the truck assist replay and the free kick on Will White. Pies players remonstrating. 50-metre penalty. Blues get their second.
Oscar Steen had hobbled off post that goal. We'll get an update on his condition in a moment from Andrew McCormack. Aidan Begg and O'Keefe into the ruck. 39 v 40, and the bigger number wins. Tumbles forward. Jaff had the advantage side. It's knocked away, though. Horrible bounce for Lambert, but he stayed involved in the contest. Couldn't quite keep it in.
Smart little footballer, Lambert. Obviously seen him play with Frankston. Just watch him around this stoppage.
Third VFL club after some time with Richmond's VFL side as well. Begg in front. O'Keefe forced it forward. Carl down low, looking to invent something from close confines. Ramshaw goes without it. Finding it was Stevens. Tom Wilson was already on his man. Andrew McCormack.
Oscar Steen hobbled off, just took that left boot off with the doctors now and the physios just having a look at that left ankle.
Thanks, Macca. Pies by a point in a time on opening term. 7 VFL's match of the day. O'Keefe having a real influence early. Well done by Allen. Back to O'Keefe, the little volleyball set. High kick from Lewis. Big pack underneath this one. Carl lurking. Dangerous. Bends at goalward, and Carmichael there to rush it through.
He got a pretty good piece of that, Carl.
That's a throw.
Yeah, probably.
It's a fine line between tap and throw, and that was on the wrong side of the fine line.
Sullivan to Markov. Richmond VFL Premiership player on this ground in 2019. They'll chain it out, the pair of them. Markov was forced onto his left. Harrison working back, couldn't quite finish off that grab. Harvey Harrison's had a solid start to his VFL season. 1-1 in both matches, averaging 21 possessions, 7.5 score involvements, and he really emerged as a goal kicker last season at this level with 14-6 in 16 games, and that yielded that opportunity he got between rounds 12 and 16 at AFL level. Begg, Allen to Sullivan. Saw Bytel at the corner of his eye. Binns is after him. Bytel had the core strength to win it to McDonald. Fanning it wide for Wilson, who's stacking up the possessions in turn one. Spaced that kick. Aquay flew. Johnson stayed down, but couldn't quite get the paddle towards long.
Yeah, great athleticism from Aquay. He just needed to find a way to get that ball over the boundary. If they'd have kept it in the Pies, they would have had a bit of overlap run and carry there towards goal.
So first possessions from the stoppage, 10-6 Carlton. Hudson O'Keefe having a real impact around. And again, we see it there. Tamar, he's stripped of it though, well done. And taken by Bytel inside 50. Lemmy spoils from the back. Wilson there got a bad bounce. Cowan immediately tackled and buried into the IKON Park turf. Sun breaks through on a lovely afternoon in Melbourne.
It certainly is really enjoying Lemmy's game as a defender. He's already taken an intercept mark up nice and high. A couple of spoils. He's just a big presence down there.
Yeah, they're developing well, aren't they? O'Keefe and Lemmy, both taken in the draft at the end of 2022. And as is always the case with big men, going to take some time. The Blues patient, but really enjoying what they're seeing as Lewis spreads it wide for Phillips.
We've seen both wings in term one. Jaff been a stopgap in defence, stripped by Moyer, leaves it for the navy blue cavalry to arrive. Phillips, little sidestep post the Stevens receive, kick to grass, and the feet of McMahon, who's fighting for it and got support.
Oh, got men everywhere.
Farinado, dancing feet from Nelson, but not the finish to match.
Oh, they've been in the pocket. They should have converted on that occasion. It was great ball movement, great forward pressure to get another look, and golden opportunity gone begging.
Blues in front by a point. Competitive opening term. Luke Parrott be pleased with what he's seen. Campbell Lane, late in the term, says, no, I'm not going to take any risk. I'm going to go long down the line. And then uncontested in the end was Michael Lewis. So another opportunity for the Blues to go inside 50. It's 10-9 their favour.
Got to create a contest.
Hold there, going the way of the Pies. It's going to the debutant, Cooper McDonald. Dean gives it off. Glover. He works it to half-back for Harrison. Now Sullivan. Jaff on the burst. To the wing. Great ball movement. This from the Pies. Long. Carmichael. Outstanding transition. Can they find a forward? Good spoil from Lewis. Managed to get it away from Hutchinson. Still there for the Pies. Harrison to Allen. Wasn't the intended target. It'll still work. Carmichael under some pressure. Well played by the Blues. Good defence. Scrambling from them. Stevens. Now Phillips, who'll go long down the line looking for Kuipers.
That was just great defensive work, great from the Blues. They were under enormous pressure on multiple occasions. They just found a way to bring the ball to ground.
Got Harry Lemmy on the headset from the Blues downstairs. Harry, you've made the transition into defence so far this season. What have you had to adjust in your game?
I mean, it's a new sort of role for me, so just gaining as much experience as I can. We've got really good backs down there like Youngie and Dom McQuay. Their experience helps me a lot.
You're encouraged by the coaching staff to back yourself in the air and play quite an aggressive defensive role?
Absolutely. You've got to back in your physical strengths, and, you know, mine's my height and my wingspan and getting the jump up there. So, like I said, with the likes of those boys, they're really helping me continue to develop my game at the back end of the ground.
Harry, appreciate your time. Get back into it.
Easy. Thanks, guys.
Harry Lemmy joining us on the headset. What great access we can get in-game from the currently AFL-listed players like a Harry Lemmy, getting an understanding of his development, or some of the more experienced VFL types we chat to from time to time. Charlie Dean, Fothergill Round Mitchell medalist at Williamstown a couple of years ago. Short to Bytel, and Collingwood have seemingly been trying to set this up almost for the whole duration of time on. Sparks, that's not good. Aquay reads it, but didn't take the mark. Support layer via Wilson, who fumbles to the line.
Good competitive quarter. Probably for the first 8 minutes, it looked like the Pies were dominating, but Blues have fought back well.
Macca boundary side.
Oscar Steen back in the game. He's in his ruck contest, so that left ankle right to go.
Thanks, Macca, who go against Hudson O'Keefe here. Mentioned Hudson's dominance early, giving the Blues an advantage around the stoppages, which is Carlton's main concern this afternoon. And at the moment, they're winning that area of the game. That's why they're in front. They're going to get another opportunity late here. Moyer laid the tackle. Sparks penalised. The first-year player, the exciting young Ashton Moyer.
What?
Turned it around.
What for? The umpires. What?
And 50. What? So the 50 must be for dissent. And maybe the initial reversal of the free was as well. Let's have a look. Surely can't be. Oh, there it is.
That one, little tummy tap.
That's what it's for. And then he's obviously questioned the decision, and the umpires marched Ryan Sparks. So instead of Carlton getting a late opportunity in the term, Ryan Sparks can now go back and kick for his third VFL goal.
Could be a big moment in this game.
23 years old yesterday. The youngster He's come up from Wonthaggi, where he played under Jared Blair, the former Magpie, and he slots Collingwood's third.
Well, that's a real coach killer. You're rewarded for a really strong tackle on the wing. You win yourself the free kick, and instead of driving that ball inside forward 50 late in the quarter for the Blues, just a bit of undisciplined football there. He gets the ball here. He didn't need, not much in it, open palm, but he just didn't even need the umpire to question it. You can see the disgust on his face.
Well, the umpires are trying to extinguish every little bit of those moments out of the game. As long as there's consistency there, we'll see it.
And Ryan Sparks makes him pay, so Moyle will be feeling even worse about himself. You don't like giving one away like that just before quarter time. You know the coaches are going to be coming out onto the ground any minute.
O'Keefe's been the dominant presence in this part of the game so far. He crosses the line, but we'll have a recalled bounce. 8 hit-outs, 3 to advantage. Collingwood have had 4 hit-outs in total. As we edge towards the quarter-time siren, O'Keefe decides to grab it this time. Good purchase on it from the half volley by Bytel. Cowan missed the mark. Harrison fumbling ball in close. Johnson went without it. Cowan goes to clean up his own mess. Wilson to Phillips, who held his width. Ferronato just spent it without it, got it back, pummels it into the chest of Ned Carl, and we've got ourselves a good one on a Sunday afternoon under sunny skies at IKON Park. A goal-for-goal opening term.
Good to go for the second term. Pies lead it by 5 points. Perfect conditions Sunday afternoon at IKON Park. There's a free kick for a centre square infringement. It's going the way of the Magpies. So they'll get first use in the second term, and Allen has it. He goes short. Finds Ned Long, who was prominent in the opening term. 8th touch for him coming up. Goes deep towards the pocket. Johnson there on the bounce. Can he make something happen? Good pressure from Binns. Lewis Young flips it backwards. Lemmy walks it over the line.
It's really good forward movement there. The ball was in the middle of the ground. Johnson and Crocker looking to block for one another. That's how Johnson found himself free.
O'Keefe and Begg. Well done, Begg at the back. Got his hands on the football, snaps goalward, but misses the lot.
30th VFL game today for Aiden Begg, who the Pies grabbed in the mid-season rookie draft of 2021.
21 tackles the Pies have laid this afternoon. Begg already with 6 of those.
Lewis Young directing traffic. Looked like he was just about to roll out the barrel. There was a little set of hands in the back of O'Keefe from Glover, who missed it. Long with strength, but the outside layer was all Carlton. Wilson to Cowan. Binns just checked his kick. Harrison checked him. It was deemed to be late. Will be referenced down the ground, so Liam McMahon will be the beneficiary. McMahon amongst the goal kickers in the opening quarter, and nice day to be on the terraces, enjoying a cold one. Been short for Ramshaw.
Blues have just been looking to chip the ball around out of their back half, be patient, composed possession.
Very little movement up the ground for Ramshaw. His kick will cue some. O'Keefe, fly over the back from Lambert. Lefroy, fumbly, but eventually to Stevens, who changed hands, shaped the kick on the right, pinpoints McMahon, who's got Nelson hustling back towards goal.
He's got the journey in him. McMahon, he's already kicked one this afternoon.
And like Tom Berenger in Major League, he calls his shot. Missed the Blues' Good Friday match against North. 26 VFL games for the Pies. He was their selection at 31 in the 2020 AFL draft from the Northern Knights. A goal 10 minutes into the first.
Nice strike.
A goal 2 and a bit minutes into the second. Carlton find themselves back in front. Another lead change after they were involved in a match that had 11 of them at AFL level yesterday afternoon, the 11th being the one that cost them 4 points.
The Maxis replay shows just a good, strong contest, winning the football forward of centre, and a smart kick to space was important by Archie Stevens. He identified where the space was and sent McMahon there, who just backed his ability, and that went straight over the goal umpire's hat, and didn't he like it?
Beautiful strike from Liam McMahon. He's a talent. Spent some time in defence at Collingwood as well to round his game. He arrived there as a forward.
Yeah, he's certainly more natural forward. He got his game going in the back half of last season.
So O'Keefe and Begg continue their battle. O'Keefe again, another touch. Again, a first possession for the Blues. Ramshaw might have thrown it. You mentioned Begg laying 6 tackles, Brownie. That's just further evidence of Carlton getting first hands on it and Begg then having to come in and do the tackling
Yeah,
work.
but you do love that from your big man. Obviously, his second and third efforts after the ruck work are getting better and better.
Along the hit-up target for Allen. Next in line was Harrison. That was really well done by Nelson, who got across the lead. McRae tries to find it on the ground. Cowan in there over the top. Wilson scrapping as well. Working hard there is Xavier Marr. Ball's flipped out. Taken down is Hutchinson. And gone. Good pressure from the Blues. Jack Hutchinson yet to have a touch. Big raps on him, Nudge. He's been one that's really jumped up over the last couple of months and hit the mid-season draft radar.
Yeah, grabbed the eyes of AFL club recruiters in the pre-season VFL matches and has had just moments through the first couple of games, a couple of goals against Brisbane a fortnight ago, elevating that status even more, and no doubt there'll be plenty of club talent spotters studded around IKON Park this afternoon as Lambert's walked to the line by Carmichael.
He had to have a touch this afternoon, though. Michael Lewis doing a good job on him. It's Bailey Lambert, son of former Richmond and Brisbane great Craig.
And Dandenong Redleg when they were in the VFL.
Sparks. Carl. Cowan punches a handball to O'Keefe. Little touch kick towards half forwards. Good from Monaghan. Puts the step on. Now the give to Carl, and he turns it over. Well done by Glover to Sparks. And the Pies can rebound off half-back. An opportunity now. Wilson can get it and go. They've got numbers streaming back towards goal. Here's a chance for Crocker. Drops the mark. Lemmy now puts the pressure on. Really good tackle. Wilson arrived. Cowan also. Ball flipped out. Harrison has got support. Richards can straighten up and kick a goal.
We'll get a look at the Ned Long scoop. It may have been borderline. We saw the Hudson O'Keefe one aerially in the first term. We could have a look at Long's on the replay here and see if that was in the confines of the rules.
Certainly got shoveled out the back of the contest. Created the space the Pies needed for Richards to run onto, and hasn't he been in some good form?
That's how quickly ball movement transition from the back half forward can hurt you. Carl up one end, just not getting over the fingertips for an opportunity in front of goal for the Blues. It goes straight up the other end. Drop mark at centre half forward. It looked like he might have missed his opportunity, but the little scoop out the back was not seen by the umpire, and a lovely finish from Joe Richards.
What a season he's had so far. 24 kicks, yielding 10 goals too. Bytel after bins, Harrison with support. Lockie Young slides through. Blues captain this afternoon puts the kick wide for Phillips, who continues to be the release player through halfback and wing. Cowan.
Ninth touch for him.
Escostine down the line. Keefe's going to try and come across to impact, but kick was spaced by Cowan, but there'll be a free kick further afield that will advantage the home side, and McMahon, who's already got 2. It's been games on serve so far in this match, goal for goal. Last 4 majors yielding the 4 lead changes in the game. McMahon, the only multiple goal kicker. Steen versus O'Keefe. Late on the scene was Allen. White to Nelson, across the face. Binns got a hand into it, created the spill. Monahan back to Binns. Oh, that's great play from Jackson. Reward for effort as the conversation to close the loop on it with the Irishman Rob Monahan, but Jackson Binns smart enough to bring it to ground, and then the footy gods were there to look after him.
Oh, he had a great year last year on the Maxis tyre replay screen. Jackson Binns won the best and fairest for the VFL Blues, and that's just smart football, knowing he had players around him bringing the ball to ground, and the power off one step to be able to kick that around the body. Outstanding.
He puts Carlton back in front. 5th lead change, Nuts? It's the 5th of the day.
Sorry, 5, yes.
Answer my own rhetorical question.
Marcelling you.
I've been impressed by just the tackle pressure from both these footy clubs. They've come to play this afternoon, as you'd expect. Old rivals, plenty of history, plenty at stake. Good, tough, old-fashioned football at the moment with sprinkling class.
Do you want to load any more cliches into that diatribe?
Well, it is.
We're taking things 1 week at a time.
Yeah, no, everyone's having a red-hot crack, and I'm enjoying it.
No, we're just going to focus on the process, and the outcome will take care of itself this afternoon. Here's Oscar Steen. Wins a free kick.
Babe Ruth. Oh, you can't point at him and then hit him like that.
And then bunt it. Crocker. Here's Hutchinson involved. Couple of touches in this chain. Off to Ed Allen. Oh. He snaps a goal. Does he know? Off the post. It's all tied up at IKON Park.
Good game of football.
No, please keep going.
Oh, may football be the winner this afternoon.
Lockie Young trying to decipher where to go. Keefe was pushed out of it. It was an almost for Charlie Dean. Phillips flipped it out. Markov. Dean again. Wilson towing the line, tries to poke the kick in. Johnson in the middle of 3 Blues. Good enough to fly early and make it hard.
Just poor communication from that kick in. There were 4 Blues players. All of them stood there expecting the other person to go up and create the contest and open the door for Collingwood to be able to win that ball. Smart little chip kick into some space from the high IQ of Wilson.
So he just poked at that first kick at goal early in term 1. Permission to launch here for Johnson. Oh. High, wide, sliding back. Touched on the line, and lead change 6 in the match.
Billy Wilson with the kick in. It's been an entertaining game. 2 evenly matched teams. Kuipers might have been nudged out of it. Umpire pays the mark to Johnson. Squares it back to Glover. They've got a train of players lining up through the middle. Lane is the receiver. And the deliverer inside 50. Cowan flies over the top. Johnson getting involved. Handball to the outside. Wasn't ideal for Kennedy. He's got some time. Does well. Gets around Lockie Young. Kicks towards Carmichael, and floating over the top is Lewis Young. Now to Cowan, who's into double figures with his 10th touch. Binns has 10, Phillips 12, while Ned Long's got 10 for the Pies. Young to Aquay.
Oh, no.
And he puts it out on the full.
Really put that over the fence. Just about to say, I'm enjoying the patient build-up from the Blues, but you've got to be able to execute coming out of the back half, and they got away with one then.
That's what Allen failed to do as he was searching for Finn McRae. He's played 3 AFL games this season. Bytel unusually cast in the ruck, and Kuipers took advantage of the height differential. No way out for Binns around those 3 pies. Jackson Binns in the VFL Team of the Year last season, as Brownie mentioned. Carlton's VFL best and fairest. He's got 10 touches in that recent goal.
He was the
And
only
a handball here.
first-year draftee to be named as well.
Marta Wilson. Nelson decides to kick. Not much forward here. Works for the Pies, and an intercept goes the way of the 23rd man, Jet Hartman.
He's got to play it down.
Play it down in back play. It looks like Billy Wilson.
It is.
It's a bit slow to get up. He's
Play
just
will
got to his feet
continue.
now.
Carlton with 17 on their feet. Dean to Bytel, just away from Binns. Wilson's with the Blues doctor, just starting to get things in gear. And now the umpire's going to stop things, and we will think of player safety first.
Just waiting for the medical staff to all get off the ground, so Wilson's going to stay out there.
He's just got to locate someone now.
We'll get involved straight away. He's off to the side of this contest. The fist went to Ramshaw. Blues look to launch. 1-2 with Binns. Ramshaw, Carl, clever to put the body on Sparks, but Sparks won the Sharon. And then a stalemate ensues.
They just can't get out at the moment. The Blues, Collingwood doing a great job pinning them in their own back half. Here's another look at Billy Wilson. Just a bit of whiplash there as his head snapped back in the tackle. Hutchinson arrived. Back to live play. Scramble continues. Begg flips it out. McRae. Now Bytel. High inside 50. Young in best position. Takes it on his chest. Macca, an update on Oscar Steen.
Well, he's just come off, really uncomfortable. He's going to have to make a decision whether he plays through the pain of that left ankle or they pull the pin. Of course, Aiden Begg, the other ruckman, as we just see a 50-metre penalty. But, yeah, the Pies in the process now, whether they're going to put a line through him or re-strap him and send him back out there, but clearly less than 100%.
Yeah, thanks, Macca. And an important structural one, as you mentioned, given the dominance of Hudson O'Keefe.
Disappointing for Steen as well after the return today, after the concussion and facial fracture from pre-season incident.
Lockie Young has it. Laterally to Lewis Young. Now Binns, just a running machine, Jackson Binns. Patiently awaiting his opportunity at the next level. Through some hands, Kuipers. Good tackle from Sparks. Nelson in there, he's immediately stripped of it. Blues have got some numbers, but Collingwood's defence pile on in and make sure it isn't coming out anytime soon. A ball up just inside 50s. We head towards time on in the second term. Great to have you with us on 7 VFL's Match of the Day. It's the Pies by a point.
2 straight to 1-2 in the quarter. Ma to Carl. Puts it in motion. Snaps on the right and misses. And tied once again. Ned Carl making his return from an ankle injury. Former Bomber. 28 goals, 20 last year as Dean shapes that kick. Well played to open things up for Harrison. Markov trying to tell Carmichael to get out of the way. Space for Allen to lead into on the 45. That's what he's got in front of him, but he'll shift things to the fence. And Hartman. Father Brett, a renowned player in the Eastern Football League and also spent time with Box Hill as Lambert was fractionally late on Sparks.
Play gone.
Smothered ball. Where are the Blues numbers? Monahan gave it up. Glover drives it clear. Crocker's got to fly against 3. Aiden Begg's down adjacent to this piece of play as well as Farinado went head first and earned the free. A little skirmish afterwards with Richards.
Bit of feeling in this game. Aiden Begg put down behind play as well. He was slow to get up.
And that tells you a bit about Christian Farinado's game. Head down, crashing through, loves the contest. To 50, another big pack off hands. White was front and centre. Ricochets out. So Aiden Begg back into the action. He'll contest this ruck contest. Here it is.
See at the top of screen, just right here. There's not a whole lot into it, just a little body check, but it was enough to put Aiden Begg on the ground for 10 or 15 seconds there.
Just got him in the solar plexus. O'Keefe taken by McRae. Away comes Long. Allen to Richards. Aquay in good position here. Good body use from Crocker.
So subtle, Brownie, but that's great forward craft. We know the goal that Ben Crocker's got, but he could tell he was a couple of metres off Aquay, and the only way he could do something was to run those 2 metres and make contact.
Yeah, he's been around for a long period of time, and forwards, you get a little bit crafty, how to use your body. Oh,
Begg at the front. Marr, umpire, is going to say kicking in danger.
yeah, that's the right call. You can't be just swinging your leg across an opponent like that.
Xavier Marr, the vice-captain, is going to be brought around on his mark. As Nudge mentioned, ACL all of last year. And there's a welcome return to this Carlton lineup, both on and off field. Great leadership. That's a beautiful kick into the middle of the ground for Lewis. Now Cowan over the top. Inside 50. Good spoil there from Jaff. Falls towards Young. He's taken down. McRae tackled by Cowan. Bouncing football in the middle of the ground. Coming out to meet it. Well played, Lemmy. Handball missed its target, though. So forced to turn tackler there was Archie Stevens. Stoppage. There's Billy Wilson.
He'll go get checked out and maybe not return in this half, you'd imagine. That was just Carlton's 6th inside 50 of the quarter. Collingwood have had 11. Doesn't feel like it's lived as much in Collingwood's territory, or not to that level.
It's been a real arm wrestle, in particular, the last 6 or 7 minutes being played between the arcs, and both these sides just trying to gain some momentum.
McRae.
Look at the pressure on the ball carrier.
Lane, the co-captain, was pummeled. High kick. Fist on it was the best way to play for Kennedy, the former Bull Ant. Binns scooped it up. Throwing it out was Young. Goes back to Binns, surrounded by Pies. To Young, the sequel better than the original. A tumbling kick. Tricky one for Glover. Sweeping onto it, McMahon. Clever forward was White. 2-on-2. Low down ball. Welcome to the VFL, McDonald. The Blues pile in on top of him. And Carlton get the stoppage they want close to goal to try and find a third in the second.
Well done by McDonald. Knew the hit was coming and he took it. Protected the football and stopped the spillage. O'Keefe and Begg. Begg got first hands on it. Flying shot at goal. Towards the line, and Harrison watches it. It's still alive. It's still in play. Picked up by White, who snaps the goal. He's got a couple. Will White. Talk about something out of nothing. That looked destined to go out of bounds. Insert Wayne Harms reference, right forward pocket, Carlton, Collingwood.
Well, the bounce of the footy on the Maxis Tyre replay, there's not much you can really do there. Harrison would have thought that was going to go through for a behind, but a classy finish from White. He's got a couple, and you just feel that the Blues, even though the game has been played in the Pies' end, they've just weathered the storm. They've been defensively very staunch and
efficient
when they've gone forward. 3-1 in this second term.
Great use of the word staunch. I appreciate that.
Ramshaw out the front gate. Pop the handball. Markov off the line. Moya. Ball security was the priority. Andrew McCormack, Oscar Steen done for the day.
Yeah, left ankle. Look, he's pretty shattered, unfortunately, but clearly a rolled left ankle. Ash Johnson, the one who's gone into the ruck, so he'll ruck along with Aiden Begg for the rest of the day.
O'Keefe taking advantage. Got it to Phillips. Here comes Glover. Marking at McDonald, standing up.
Couple of great
His first match as a Pie, but he sold Markov into all sorts of trouble. Similar story, Sullivan to the outside for Lane. Back to McDonald. Lost the handle on it. Blues go looking. Lane scooped it. Moy was after him. Jaff taken down by Lambert, and it was considered a hold. can't question Bailey Lambert's attack. It's just been execution at times that's let him down. 7 lead changes in the match. The Blues with 3 in the second quarter to hold this advantage.
Glover, tidy delivery to Sparks on the wing. He sizzles one towards half forward. Johnson can run onto this. Taps it on. Lewis stands in the way for the Blues. Takes the Johnson tackle. Needs some support. Arriving is Young. Good body-to-body work on Johnson. Flipped out by Binns. Intercepted by Tal. Taken by Sparks. Here's Long. Feeds it back. And Lane goes inside 50. Hutchinson drops the mark. Gathers it on the deck. Slips a handball. Sullivan bends it towards Crocker, and a great fist from Lewis Young. Great football from both teams. This is an entertaining high-pressure contest.
There's plenty of pressure on the ball carry. Just some uncharacteristic drop marks at crucial times for the Pies, and Lewis Young's been resolute down back. Couple of intercept marks and a good strong spoil there towards the boundary. Desperate to get back in that AFL side after playing in rounds 1 and 2.
Collingwood's 13th inside 50 of the quarter. They've only got 1-2 to show for it. Moya. Pokey kick out from Stevens, marked by Long going back with the flight. He's in range if he wants to load up. Lafroy's stolen at least a couple of metres here.
Almost.
Smart. Could have been the difference, but the umpires dragged him right back onto the 50.
Monahan had a shot from here for the Blues in the first quarter. He got things a little bit high. Long kick, the first goal of the match, 5 minutes in. As mentioned, former Hawk, fresh off a terrific game for the VFL last week. Search for distance diminished the accuracy, so 1-1 for Ned Long, who alongside Finn McRae, most touches for the Pies thus far. Jackson Binns with a game-high 16 for the home team.
As we hit the 25-minute mark in the second term, this is Michael Lewis receiving from Cowan. He gets it back and thumps towards the wing. O'Keefe in the middle of that pack. It's off his hands. Blues could get out the back here. Carl, White and Moya all kind of got in each other's way. It was on for Carlton. Ned Cale just rubs his head in frustration. Moya and White spoiled each other with a miscommunication. O'Keefe puts it into the crowd.
Well, I suppose if you're going to do that, at least it's going to be slow ball moving back the other way as they...
Are you saying that's strategic?
If you had torped it onto the roof, maybe.
They get some run and carry now.
Sullivan to Jath. Another inside 50 for the Pies, and that one just sort of floated and dropped short. Young was expecting it to carry a little further. Crocker read it best. And Ben within range, with Lockie Young standing 48 metres from goal.
He just read it slightly quicker than his direct opponent. Then he knew that it was floating and dropping short, and Ben Crocker, such a crafty forward, doesn't need too many disposals a game to really hurt you.
He can put Collingwood back in front late in this second term. They've had some fantastic games, these two teams, in recent years. Another one unfolding this afternoon from 53 metres. Makes really good contact. And O'Keefe ushers it through.
Lockie Cowan takes an opportunity to have a little bit of a breather and take the sting out of things. Collingwood have set their kicking zone back, so you can run 8 or so metres and put this at least a half back. Dean takes the intercept. Jath inboard, as you can see, middle of your screen. Might go even further. Young got up high, couldn't finish the mark though, and there's 2 Blues down as a result. Cowan around the body. Carl back with the flight, courageous.
Yeah, it was gutsy.
The mark in front of Glover. Can tell you both the Blues are up. Lewis and Lemmy were those injured in the skirmish.
No forward structure for the Blues at the moment, so has no other option but to go slow and wide while the players work back to reset.
Carl found O'Keefe, who won the battle of the 40s against Johnson, who's a bit proppy on the mark. O'Keefe. Kuiper's trying to make a contest. Jaff had some nice moments in the first half.
Moves it quickly to McDonald. Likewise has had some moments. Out to Campbell Lane. The Pies look to attack around the city side of the ground. That kick set a real task for Kennedy. Bins, touch kick inside 50 is good, and Will White can go back and shoot for goal number 3.
Hasn't he been lively? Kicked one in the first, kicked that great goal from the pocket just before, and gives the Blues just an opportunity to set up defensively. They've been under a little bit of pressure the last few minutes, and another bad bounce for the Pies.
20-year-old from South Warrnambool, played under-18s footy at the GWV Rebels. Second VFL game this afternoon, and a chance to spear it to the pocket for Carl. And he's more than capable from here.
He just never stops presenting. That's why he got that ball. He worked all the way back into the forward 50. He was buzzing around. And the Pies defender let him go, just assuming that White was going to have a shot.
Spent some time on Essendon's AFL list, Ned Carl. Very talented player at VFL level. So he narrowly missed one earlier in the term. But he's a sharpshooter. Can he slot it from the angle here to give Carlton a little buffer? The shadows of half-time off a couple of steps. Slides across the face.
So will Collingwood take the conservative approach late in the quarter, as they seemingly did in term 1, and it ended up resulting in that Ryan Sparks goal from the Moya free kick in 50. They carried it halfway. Begg versus Aquay. Important hand in, but Harrison, the man there, manoeuvres it back in for Johnson, who can slice past Lambert on the mark. 1v2 for Crocker, but the kick was pitch perfect to his advantage. Crocker's got Wilson inside 50. Makes the angle harder, but it is closer. And Wilson, with that channel out to his right, will have space to run into to try and get the journey. Instead, he'll go short. Smart play from McRae. Oh, the kick. The siren against the Pies. McRae would have had a shot at goal to give Collingwood the advantage at half-time. Instead, the timekeeper intervened, and Carlton, after beginning as the interim coach at Coburg when they were in their alignment with Richmond, with Jade Rawlings taking over from the departing Terry Wallace mid-season one year. And I think Fly was saying he might have won 2 games in half a season. Things have certainly got a bit better since, and Brendan Bolton's first real prominence from a mainland point of view, had a great career in Tassie, of course, was coaching the Tasmanian VFL team for a period as well, and we know how things have unfolded for him in the past 15 years as the Blues go forward early. O'Keefe judging it, Glover, Dean receives, Lane shielded, McMahon for 3 miscues.
Well, it's probably the easiest of his opportunities this afternoon. Usually would kick those. Golden opportunity goes begging for McMahon.
Third quarter action thanks to Crown. It's the Blues by a straight kick. Markov, another who could probably get a little busier. There's just his 9th touch.
Yeah, he's a good ball user. They'll be looking for him to drive a little bit of creativity from the back half, things like that.
It's a lovely weighted kick. Did Carmichael juggle it over the line? He did.
He did.
Didn't complete the mark until he'd crossed the line. That's it. Boundary side to Macca.
Billy Wilson ruled out for the day with that concussion, so we'll take no further part. The Blues are man down on the bench.
Thanks, Macca. More from Macca coming up later in the broadcast. Our latest AFL headlines and what's making news on 7 AFL. As Phillips kicks towards half forward, Jack just read that better, got rid of Carl, took the grab. O'Keefe just sets himself underneath the football and drops the uncontested grab. Fortunately for him, he's got some support. It's fed back to him by Phillips. He links up with Lockie Young, who's under pressure, and they will turn it over. Harrison will run onto it. Looking for an option to present. That is a beautiful, expansive handball. Here's Markov, almost run down. Will it affect the kick? Drops a little short. Front and centre. Hutchinson kicks the goal. Scores level at IKON Park. Great to have you with us on 7+. Live streaming our 7 VFL, 7 Sandful, 7 Waffle matches of the day every weekend. Live and on demand during the week. All the best of State League footy live and free on 7+.
Great handball from Harvey Harrison to the run and carry of Oleg Markov. We just spoke about him. He needs to create a little bit more. The kick to the top of the square, dangerous spot, and Jack Hutchison doing some fantastic roving work. So perfect start for the Pies, scores level.
His first kick of the afternoon, the product from Wonthaggi, and it's an easy parallel to draw, but it's sort of the Bailey Fritsch-esque role and attributes where it's not so much volume, it's what you do with your chances. A terrific season in the Gippsland League last year, kicking 34 goals with Ryan Sparks as a teammate. That after 38 the previous season to be member of the Team of the Year. Ramshaw bumped out of it by his own man in Stevens. They work it out this time. Ramshaw flicks it forward, punched away Markov from Nelson. Lefroy at the fall. Phillips has had the running shoes on all day. Not the best effort on that occasion. Horrible bounce, Carl. Interesting hand pass, Glover. The co-captains combine, and Lane to Glover releases the hustling Markov onto the chest of Crocker. There's better movement. There's certainly some flavour about the Pies right now. Carmichael to Sullivan. On his blind side was Phillips.
When you're transitioning the ball like that at the back half, very, very hard to stop unless it's by a skill error. So the Crocker kick, if that hits the target, they're having another shot on goal.
O'Keefe with strength, got rid of Begg. Spirals towards half forward. He gets over the back of Monaghan. Kuiper's first man back for the Blues. Dean on his hammer. Kuiper's clever. Slaps it out into the path of Carl. Has a fumble. Has another. Under pressure from Lane. And well done by Campbell Lane. Got it to Dean. And the danger passes for the Pies.
You've got to be clean if you're a small forward. They're the half opportunities that you get given. 2 fumbles then from Carl.
Richards to Johnson on the wing. Johnson a half forward for Crocker. Collingwood with a bright start to this third term. Chance to regain the lead. Bytel. And now Carmichael, who's within range.
It's like a different side that's come out after half-time with their ball movement. It's fast, it's free-flowing, and making the Blues really chase defensively. Holes are starting to open up forward.
Marks 9-1 in that third term so far. They've just been able to control the football. Can Carmichael give us an 8th lead change from 50? Winds up and launches. Lemmy at the front of the pack. Gets to a dangerous spot, and Johnson lets him off the hook. A defensive lapse from the Blues.
Yeah, that's where you've got to run with the flight of the ball and spoil it through for a behind. Don't be trying to mark or spoil it back into play. Otherwise, you leave the door open for another opportunity in front of goals.
Couple of misses to the Royal Parade end so far for Ash Johnson. McMahon will get a free flight this for the Blues. Free kick against Monaghan, play stop, Pies didn't. McRae, Allen, Crocker wrestling with Aquay.
Smart kick, wasn't it? Just saw the space out the back. Knew Benny Crocker had position on his direct opponent, and nasty fall there. A little bit slow to get up.
Lee McMahon up now, fortunately.
Well, Ben Crocker kicked a major to this end of the 18-minute mark of the opening quarter to extend the Pies' lead and kick his second of the day. So Hutchinson and Crocker, after the Pies kick their only goal of the second quarter, 6 minutes in through Joe Richards, have now wrestled back the ascendancy with a far more exciting, expansive style of game in the first 7 minutes of this third quarter.
They've injected some flavour nudge.
Got a list of any other names we need to tick off today? Majizak, Porsonides.
Majizak, number 33. Porsonides wore 49.
12-4 to 9-21. The Roos have got home by a point in a thriller.
Begg goes to ground again. He spent plenty of time on the deck this afternoon. Gets a free kick on this occasion.
It was...
Needs a beach towel.
He really does.
Thumps it long. That's really good body use from Lewis Young.
Yeah,
got rid of Johnson.
It was just to the wrong side of Johnson, that kick from Begg. Didn't really give him a chance. He had to stop prop and come back, and Young too strong.
Cowan short to Ramshaw. Back to Cowan, looking to create off half-back. Goes short to the back edge of the square for Lewis. They continue the switch. This is Lemmy. He can go wider still to Young. Next kick down the line. Really good presentation from Lambert. Well done, Jaff, with closing speed. Ramshaw can pop the handball over the top. Will it sit for Monaghan at will? Back to Ramshaw. Needs to be quick. They keep it moving. Nelson's ripped off the football. Here's an opportunity. Ferronato in his first game. Smothered off his boot, and the Pies come away through Allen to Markov, and Oleg's away.
They've lit the burners again. Markov wide for Wilson. Couldn't complete the mark, but had sufficient time and space. It's off the outside of his right. Johnson needs to launch against 3 Blues. The bounce nearly favoured Crocker. Johnson and a Carlton opponent down as Lewis finds Archie Stevens.
Lockie Cowan, the man down, who's up now but hobbling.
Blues have got numbers on the legend stand side. McMahon with the grab. Pies have folded back though. Had to pinpoint Ferronato. He's got to find a Blue who can get away from the army of Pies in their defensive 50. The decision is to kick high. And it was almost for Kuipers. And he takes Hartman to the post. Ouch.
Ash Johnson just hobbling off here as well, so we'll get Macca all over that.
Jet Hartman in his 3rd game. That post is still wobbling. Lee Matthews style at Windy Hill.
Interesting call, that, isn't it?
Long to the line, and this game needs a breather as Ash Johnson comes off. He's had, as we know, some issues with ankles and the like in recent times.
Could that be considered rough conduct, driving an opponent into a post like that?
Wouldn't have thought so.
Well, you wouldn't, no, but nudge a normal person,
Yeah,
would you?
more fair-minded person. Yeah,
I
possibly.
hardly drove him into it. It was backpedaling towards the boundary.
Your Honour.
Now that's high, and he's going to be rewarded here.
It's Bailey Lambert, who's put his body on the line all afternoon, and things are getting a bit spicy now, and understandably so. Kuipers gets involved again. Blues have already had a goal from a reversed free kick. Bytel hates the call, and Bailey Lambert can go back and make it a 1-point game as things continue to simmer. '34th VFL game this afternoon for Lambert. Here's another look. Attack the football. Got one high from Bytel, who didn't like the call, but looked to be there. And Lambert to make it a 1-point game. Important kick. Blues looking to stay in touch. It's been inside a goal for most of the day. And Lambert brings it back to within a point.
Bailey Lambert just eyes only on the football and rewarded for his desperation there. Smart use of the footy, goes back, crown replay. That's absolutely no problem for a man of his quality. And margin back to a point, little bit of niggle just coming back into this contest.
First goal's a bagger, 3 games for the Tigers, 30 for the Dolphins as Long squashed by a couple of Blues. An update on Ash Johnson, Macca.
Well, the Pies say he is fine. The medicos aren't seeing him at the moment, but he's clearly hobbling just on the bench with maybe a left heel, left ankle. The young man, Jack Hutchison, going in the ruck with Aiden Begg off as well.
Thanks, Macca. Jack Sullivan just before Lockie Young was in his vicinity. Kennedy through the hands of Harrison. Sweeping onto it, Ramshaw.
Gotta hit that.
Kick low down. Moyer lost his footing. Punching the handball was Glover. Wants it back from Hartman, who enters the 50. Back with the flight. Acrobatic was Young. McRae crosses the mark. Young puts it wide. Fist from Jath, but that's to the advantage of White, who's kicked a couple. Flies a handball for McMahon. Flying in was McDonald, didn't get him. Lambert gets it. There's a man out here for Nelson if he can clasp it. He does. He snaps. He goes himself. Misses near side and might have let Ashton Moyer down, who was on his own in the goal square.
And players queuing up in the middle of the ground as well, so...
Scores level again. Markov to Bytel. Very entertaining 7 VFL match of the day this afternoon at IKON Park in perfect conditions. Been very little in this. Less than a kick for most of the afternoon. Bytel to Markov, who's starting to look dangerous. 6 touch for the quarter after you had 8 in the first half. Short ball to Dean. He charges away, wants to get something happening. He's got the second gamer, Cooper McDonald. Turns and goes towards half forward. Coming through is Campbell Lane. One-on-one inside 50. Well done, Lemmy. He's got such wingspan. What have you made of his game so far this afternoon?
He's been terrific. He's going to get better and better with his positioning as he plays more time down back. But you can see then he engaged the body. Big long levers there, spoiled the ball towards the boundary. His intercept work has been sound, so just a work in progress down back. But I like him as a defender.
All square again after it was the Pies by 5 at quarter time, the Blues by that margin at the half. Bins a scrubby ball to midway. Hartman got it. McDonald got a knuckle on it. Markov managed to find the co-captain in lane. He wants to head fat side. Up goes Hutchinson. Use Kuipers as his step ladder. Lewis, the release kick, and Glover's playing a smart game behind the footy. What a luxury to have the co-captain who can go back and forward at Josh Fraser's will. Cooper McDonald getting a little bit more involved in the ball movement as the game's gone on.
Very stationary in the Collingwood forward line at the moment.
1-2 with McRae off his ankle. Ramshaw intercepts.
And the Blues counter punch. Monahan off the back edge of the square. Penetrating kick.
Like that kick.
Glover couldn't allow it to get over the back against White. He didn't. It was really well done. McDonald. Back to Glover.
Well, you knew what White was trying to do, nudge Glover under the footy so it could run on, and Glover just didn't allow it. Great defensive work.
Bytel down the line. Turns Lemmy around. Aquay's there in support and was taken high.
Stayed down as well, Aquay.
Yeah.
He did try and get back to his feet and stumbled back here.
Little look, yeah, just runs straight into the chest of...
Oh, and maybe a clash of the chin to the head.
Maybe even chin to the head, yep.
So
this is a concern for Dom Aquay.
Certainly when you try and get back to your feet and you stumble back down, it's a telltale sign that you're not quite right with your faculties.
He's going to come straight off.
Both teams already a player down. Billy Wilson out of the game in the first half for the Blues, and Oscar Steen similar for Collingwood.
So Dom Aquay, who's an important piece as a tall defender, require a reshuffle here from the Blues. They've got Lockie Cowan to come back into the game. Slightly different role, but may well end up filling it. And Harry Lemmy, it's been a great example of repurposing a player. Comes across as a forward, Brownie, but given they've got Mackay and Curnow locked in at the next level as key forwards, they look down back. They've got Wiedering as their key defender. But then after that, who's that next that can play on a really tall player? And it's not Marchbank. Kemp not quite big enough in the body. Lewis Young's been in and out of the side, so they look at Lemmy and think, well, you know what, maybe we'll make him a defender.
And they're the conversations that you have with your development coaches and your senior coaches and say, look, where am I going to be playing AFL football? You know,
Where's the opportunity?
I know I got drafted as a forward and I love playing forward. I want to be a forward, but I'm not going to be playing in front of Mackay or Curnow, so you need to come up with another avenue to get yourself an opportunity.
And it's also, from a depth point of view, the coaching staff already know the player can play that role if necessary, but what other roles can you create?
I got recruited as a midfielder. Never spent 1 second in the midfield my whole career.
Hawthorns fans are thankful as such. Moya to Phillips. Chopped off long. Harrison's got the requisite speed. Crocker's out. Carmichael in isolation. 15 from goal.
That's something we haven't seen this afternoon.
Turns around, snaps. Collingwood back out by a kick.
That really quick ball movement.
Yeah, that was top of mind pre-game, wasn't it? Dom McQuay heading to the rooms for assessment.
I feel like what we've seen from Collingwood in the third quarter is what they're almost trying to recapture at AFL level at the moment as well, where they haven't necessarily looked their 2023 self at times.
Dom McQuay heading off straight to the rooms for a concussion test, so unlikely we'll see him again after that big hit. So the Blues now 2 men down with Billy Wilson. Also the Pies 1 man down on the bench with Oscar Steen going down with a rolled ankle early, but some casualties here on the bench here at IKON Park.
And that's the crown replay scene, just turning the ball over, coming out of the back half, and Collingwood having some numbers forward of the footy. Crocker to Carmichael, and first time we've really seen that this afternoon. That space inside the forward 53 the side. And he's Beck again. Honestly, he spent more time on the ground.
It's like that video,
grimacing.
like that video of the soccer goalie that gets hit 15 times in the penalty shootout.
Oh, he's gone over again.
No. Is he okay?
He can't keep his feet.
Ball inside 50 again for the Pies. It's Kennedy, tumbling footy. Collingwood with 2 strikes in a minute. And just like that, a game-high margin for the visitors.
Talking about Beck not being able to keep his feet, that's a bit unlucky. But the long kick down the line to his direct opponent, Hudson O'Keefe, who's been good today, but gets a run and jump at the footy, and it just goes straight through again. Open the door for a Pies shot on goal, and smart kick by Kennedy. He's got to be better in the air, the big ruckman.
So once again, the Blues are going to need to answer. O'Keefe, bit of an air swing, Moya. The Blues will get a free kick. This is Ashton Moya, who's spending plenty of time in the middle today. They look to develop another string to his bow. Markov's been great in the third term, really imposed himself on the game. He's been the spark to make things happen off half-back. Young's been fantastic for the Blues in defence. And he belts that to the line, away from Kennedy, the goal kicker. There's Ed Allen. Lockie Young has come in to provide experience for this young team. Oleg Markov with 8 touches in the third term. McRae's had 6 and Bytel 5, so 3 of their frontliners having an impact. Nice tap, O'Keefe, down to Moya. Good pressure from Long, and then Moya returns the favour. Sullivan to Allen. Looks inside, dangerous kick, chance for the Blues to turn it over here. Cowan. Phillips has patrolled that outer wing and just racked him up this afternoon. His 17th touch. Lewis.
Great kick.
Spears it inside 50 onto the chest of McMahon.
Oh, you can't defend that. That was an absolutely exquisite kick. McMahon lining up for his third. Much needed goal here for the Blues, because you can just feel the ascendancy of the Pies over the last 6 or 7 minutes. They've kicked 4 goals this quarter. Should be a nice steadier for the Blues.
So once again to bring it back within a kick. Carlton just hanging in there in this third term. The Pies have seized the initiative. And the Blues for another response. McMahon being one of the most effective forwards on the ground for goal number 3. Got it. A goal in each quarter for Liam McMahon. We're back with a kick once again. So we hit the 25-minute mark of the third term at IKON Park. 7 VFLs. Match of the day. Coming to you live on 7+. Next week, it's the Blues in action again. We're back here at IKON Park as they take on the Borough.
It's good ball movement, just taking the easy option, take some space, and then that's the kick into the leading lane for McMahon. He's been their most dangerous forward this afternoon. He kicked 3, he missed 1. He probably should have kicked earlier in the quarter, that snap around the body.
3 goals, 3 prodigious celebrations from the former Pie. And you can see there, Blues breaking a run. And the Pies have kicked back-to-back goals twice in the quarter. McRae the clearance. Nelson with the flight. Contact. Ramshaw gets it. Chips wide for Phillips.
He's run on. That's great work rate from Ramshaw. He's trying to get busy.
Ramshaw back to Cowan and might have a third touch in the sequence. He does. Heads for the interior. Reverse Falcon for Long.
If he didn't actually make contact to his opponent then, it would have been play on, because he hit him in the back of the head. As soon as you turn your back and make any form of contact, though, it's a free.
Archie Stevens, as the Blues look to try and tie it up late in the quarter. Glover's there for the Pies. Moya fumbles it off. Ferronato on debut. Skies one deep. Another poster.
Bit of ball movement, though, coming out the back half. I'm sure it involved 3 times.
5-point game. Campbell Lane. To Chaff. Lots of traffic ahead, so he looks to switch to the City side. Flirted with the boundary line, and Glover just managed to keep it in. Oh, and then he flirts with it. And puts it out.
That is out. Oh, no. They've done their absolute best to gift one back here to the Blues.
And Bailey Lambert goes quickly to Carl, who marks and can put Carlton back in front.
Well, that's just a comedy of errors there. First, the kick out of bounds on the full and not being able to get back. There were 2 of them. They could have affected the spoil. Carl, the sharpshooter, he's had a couple of opportunities this afternoon, been a little bit fumbly.
Sets up to...
What did he miss round 1 for, Chase? He was rubbed out for...
Did he get suspended for flipping the bird at local footy?
Yes, he did. It's a week suspension these days, can you believe it?
He runs around and kicks the goal. He puts Carlton back in front. Are we right in saying that nudge or not?
Might have crossed wires with Liam McMahon.
Oh, was it Liam, was it?
I believe so.
That's all right. We'll clear that up off the back. See, one of them did.
Was it really?
A week these days for that.
Week. Believe it?
So that's Northern Footy League. In fact, it was Liam McMahon that missed a week for flipping the bird at the crowd, not Ned Carl.
There you go. Who would have thought? Crown replay shows Carl kicking his first.
And look at the Blues, they're just delirious up on the balcony. beside themselves with excitement.
9th lead change of the afternoon. Off the ground, McRae. Richards almost able to mark it at high speed. Advantage paid. McRae's second touch. Crocker this time with a drop on Lewis. He's having a day out against his former mob.
Three goals for Ben Crocker. Just like that. Pies back in front again with lead change number 9, is it?
10.
10. In a double figures.
And we've had 5 goals in time on. 3 to Collingwood, 2 to the Blues.
Long may it continue.
Terrific game.
Well, the quickest of replies. Sometimes it doesn't have to be too efficient. Just a soccer out of the midfield, a follow-up long kick. And again, you do not want to play Ben Crocker from in front. Got to play him back here. He'll just nudge under the footy all day long. He's kicked 2, very similar this quarter.
Collingwood's second goal from a centre bounce for the day.
10th lead change. Pies back in front. O'Keefe got the tap down. Farinado bounces it towards half forward. Here's Carl, shovels it out. Blues can keep it moving. Binns retreats. Kick to 50. White. Carl sizes them up. Bends it back. Bends it through. Lead change number 11.
Well, this is a fun way to spend a Sunday afternoon.
Absolutely.
Great game of footy. Crown replay, that's just Ned Carl knowing exactly what he wanted to do with the footy. Forward craft, look at him, take some ground, bend it back. 2 goals in the space of 3 minutes for Ned. And more importantly, the lead change.
And it's 3 apiece in the last 10 minutes. This game has come to life with offense from both teams.
Now it's the
Long
Pies
pounds it deep. Lewis Young, yet another intercept mark in defence. Good to see Ash Johnson back on the ground. Plenty of instruction for Lockie Young. Jump from McDonald at the front. Moya down to Farinado. Careful kick on the bounce. Stevens couldn't trap it. Richards was that high from Cowan.
Good umpire.
Umpire lets it go, and that's
really good
absolutely
umpire.
the right call.
Yeah, because it wasn't contact below the knees, because he was legitimately going for the footy in midair, and he fell into his back, but it wasn't his fault. So that's outstanding officiating. Not something I say too often.
O'Keefe engages with Begg. Emerging is Long. Shoves it to Wilson. He's hoping for a runner to the outside. Kennedy now gets the bounce. Can't dodge the second tackle of Nelson. And Carlton get it back in hand.
Business really picked up in this third term. It's been fantastic to watch. Lewis to Moya. First half was great as well. It was physical and tough, but it was a real arm wrestle. It's opened up a bit in the third term.
And just little small thing about understanding the state of the game and where you are in the game. They won the free kick for holding the ball then. They took the advantage, but Carlton didn't want the advantage.
Moya comes in. Good, solid contact with Wilson.
33-minute mark in your half-back flank. You're trying to slow the game down. You don't want to get scored against. So a little bit like McRae just on half-time, kicking the ball back in.
Situational awareness, something that every coach talks about so much these days.
Just always need to be looking at the time, the scoreboard, where you are on the field, and thinking what do we need to do in this circumstance.
Important stoppage. Coming off his man was Nelson. To Farinado, who's been industrious. Bouncing football. Kuipers needs to stick the tackle on Lane, and he does. Well done from the big man, who's done some nice things today, Kuipers. Competed hard up forward, brought the ball to ground.
They're just the 3 disposals, but it's about work rate and efforts like that that'll endear himself to his teammates.
Just want to see glimpses, don't they, coaches, when players are in their first handful of games, just to prove they belong at this level. They've got something to build on. Lovely work from Phillips, just hauled it in. And the siren will sound for 3/4 time. It was Collingwood by 5 points at the first change. Carlton by 5 points at the half-time break. And as we turn for home at IKON Park, it's the Blues by 1 solitary point. Carlton, 9-9-63. Collingwood, 9-8-62 on 7 VFL's Match of the Day.
The Roos keep rolling. They had the better of Carlton on Good Friday. So final quarter at IKON Park is... It's either going to be the Pies with win 2 of the season or the Blues hunting their first. McRae with an early tackle on Stevens. So no Aquay or Wilson for the Blues. Oscar Steen out of the game for the Pies, and Hudson O'Keefe has been dominant in this part of the ground. Beggs had the better of him on that occasion. Got it out to Bytel, who tried to step Phillips. Flipped it back to Begg, who tumbled it inside 50. Lockie Young couldn't mark. The telescopic arms of Lemmy got it. And then he was driven into the turf and had Hutchinson attached to his back.
A tough day for Jack Hutchinson, just the 3 touches. Lockie Young off half-back. That's a really good mark over the top. Nicely judged by Charlie Dean. Squares it to Ned Long. Now Markov. Wider for Allen. All been prominent. Tidy kick inside from Campbell Lane. And now it's with Lockie Sullivan. Patient build up here from the Pies. McRae's got some space. Can he find a target inside 50? Overcooks the kick. It's to the advantage of Lemmy, who reads it nicely.
Really poor kick inside forward 50 then. Good opportunity, presenting forwards, and didn't kick it to the favoured side at all.
Tom Phillips has just epitomised role player this afternoon. He has been that link man out of half-back time and time again. Might turn it over here, though. McRae punches a handball to Bytel, and Ash Johnson's going to get an early look.
Good to see him back on the field. Obviously hobbled off from that contest in the 3rd term, but they desperately need Ash, not just as a forward, but a pinch hitter in the ruck as well, with some of the injuries this afternoon.
A chance for the 12th lead change of the afternoon. Ash Johnson, 3 behinds. Lewis Young stands 45 out. Deliberate approach, Johnson, from right on 50. It's tracking left.
Out of the full.
Hits the behind post. Blues retain the lead.
Hasn't had his kicking boots on this afternoon.
May have some problem with the ankle or heel, as Macca reported.
Remember, he was
earlier.
stretching at one stage when he was on the mark earlier in the game.
Might have a bit of tightness down there somewhere.
Lockie Cowan has it.
No one on the mark here, so he just needs to be patient. Don't force the issue.
Collingwood set back now, rush at him. Jath did the work early on Lefroy. Hugs the line, sets the kick up. Lemmy missed with the fist. Carmichael, it's long enough. It was higher than long, but it's good enough. Lead change 12. Collingwood have got this set of players who won't need many opportunities. Josh Carmichael is that. He's the latest. 7 touches, 2 goals. Hutchinson and Johnson with 1-4 between them.
The Amy replay, just a long kick down the line. A really strong mark, Jath, and he drives it to a dangerous spot. Lemmy was the man that set himself, came across for the big spoil, and just didn't get a good enough purchase on it. Allowed a soft drop, and Carmichael did the rest. He's kicked a couple of really important second-half goals.
He gives Collingwood the lead once again. O'Keefe out of the middle, thought about the kick and then gave the dish to Marr. Off the side of his boot, an intentional banana. Jat's got to be quick here. McMahon's got him. Umpire said that's enough. He's 55 out, Liam McMahon. He's kicked 3. He'll set this one up. Kuiper sets himself in the middle of that pack. McMahon was, O'Keefe rather, was at the front. Mad scramble on the deck, it's not coming out. So can the Blues respond? What's been a seesawing struggle. As Nudge mentioned, a really critical game early. Carlton, only their second game of the season, chance to pick up their first win. O'Keefe to a dangerous spot. Sullivan slaps it out. Allen couldn't control it. Nelson does. Screws it back. O'Keefe underneath this. Well done, Begg. Off hands. Good tackle, Harrison. Kick squeezes out. Here's White. And he gives his own special comments.
Yeah, he's kicked a couple this afternoon. He's been lively on the left there. He would have loved to have hit that a bit nicer. Important spore from Begg as well.
South Warrnambool premiership teammates of last year in Stevens and White linking up, but not the finish required. Dean, the kick in. Begg getting better as the game's going on after there's been times where we thought he could have been put on ice.
Done some really important things.
Ed Allen, as the shadows lengthen, blasts it forward. Be a hard one to mark. Carmichael put the fist into it. Lockie Young spun, put in the washing machine by Richards. Former AFL Bulldog and Roo, got his opportunity in the AFL through some good performances with Frankston when splitting his time with the Dolphins and the Dandenong Stingrays. Now a full-time VFL Blue. And Ned Long's cop one with Beggs down, and they are both down. And it might be just accumulated skirmishes that see Aiden Begg off.
Was that a head clash?
It was, as Ned Long was coming through the other side of the contest. We get a look at it on the replay here. So Begg had finished the ruck.
Oh, that's
Long trying to come through.
Yeah. Jeez, we've had a horror today with head knocks. This could be the 3rd concussion for the game.
Wilson Aquay out of the game for the Blues.
That was the top of Ned Long's head, right into the chin and cheek of Aiden Begg.
So Begg comes off, Long stays on. Sparks onto the ground, and Long will actually assume the ruck duties with Begg off. Second kick from Ferronato went 3 metres. It'll be listed as effective to mark. Carl's got to make a contest. Did on McDonald. White squeezed it out. McDonald goes after it. Important ground ball win, Stevens. Only as far as Glover. Kick to a dangerous spot. Johnson flying in. Basketball by McRae once, twice, and a 3rd time. Where's the Lewis contact? Did he turn it over? No. Free kick, a huge call at halfway.
And the Pies retain possession through McRae, just as the Blues were about to go charging inside 50. Instead, it'll be a Collingwood entry.
Johnson's in the box seat.
Well done, Young in from the side. Ramshaw a slight fumble. Crocker lurking, spins through one tackle. Handball wasn't ideal, it was at the feet of Sparks. It comes to Sullivan. He throws a boot at it. Hutchinson will get on the end of it.
Right place, right time. He's had a quiet day, but he could bob up and kick his 2nd goal for the afternoon.
And a chance to give Collingwood a 10-point lead. He does. Massive call on the wing. Pies get it inside 50 and Hutchinson's got 2.
See, Aiden Begg, Aiden Begg, and this was the play on the wing. It was great play from McRae. He paddled it forward once and twice and just got into the back. That's the right call in the Amy replay, but the Blues were absolutely away. And a nice passage of play there. They just hack-kicked it forward. Hutchinson Reddick staying in the goal square, and 10-point margin.
Ash Johnson, the latest to get a turn in the ruck for the Pies. Sullivan, another important clearance. Pies with the only 2 goals in the last quarter so far. Kennedy fumbled it. Harrison tried to sweep at the Sharon. Sullivan with an outstretched arm. Markov fumbly originally. Carlton with numbers at the coalface. Nelson had the handball option, elected to kick, and with good reason as McMahon climbs over Dean. Pops it short. White to Binns. Creative normally by foot. Corralled by Jath. Carl tried to trap it with the foot. White, Sullivan under pressure. Similar story here with Long, who shows his core strength to climb up from the ground and carry Lewis with him. And we've got ourselves our first dust-up of any real meaning of the afternoon. The umpire might just throw this up with no one to go after the footy.
He's not the ruckman, though. Don't you need to
nominate?
I think that was bereft of nominations. There weren't enough candidates.
Well, best way to stop.
That's what Archie Stevens was saying. I didn't go up because I wasn't the ruckman.
Desired result. Wrestle stops. Play continues. Good ground.
Free kick for a push. It's going Collingwood's way anyway. Won't be Johnson's, though. We'll come back to Charlie Dean. It's been a little bit just bubbling away under the surface in this one. Dean, low and flat to Glover. He pops it over the top. Lane's got to stand and wait, did it really well. And the Pies get it to the outer side. Harrison Kennedy. It's got Johnson calling for it in the middle of the ground. It'll be a bold kick. Instead, he'll go to half forward. Long sets himself. Lewis Young over the top, didn't bring it down. He's got some support, though. Lockie Young tried to take on the tackler. Gonski.
He was in trouble as soon as he tried to just break through that tackle with brute strength and got held up. You knew the umpire was sitting on the whistle. And Josh Carmichael, who we said at half-time, could be one of those guys that just needs to lift a fraction. He can line up for goal number 3.
Macca, an update on Aiden Begg?
Aiden Begg looks like he's ready to come on just shortly. We've got Lockie Young coming off with a ripped jumper. So we've got some action here on the bench, but Aiden Begg just coming on now, good to go.
What a day he's had. Might need to sleep in the ice bath. Josh Carmichael for a 16-point lead. 48 metres out. And the Pies make their move. Carmichael's got 3. Three straight to 1 behind in this final term.
Amy replay, you can see here just trying to take the tackler on. He had his arms free, could have disposed of that ball, and he hasn't had a lot of possessions this afternoon. Josh Carmichael, just the 8, but certainly in the second half he's made the most of them with 3 goals.
Craig McRae and Justin Lepich in dialogue. Josh Carmichael with 3 of Collingwood's last 6 goals in the game. The first of those coming as we entered time on in the 3rd quarter. And Collingwood with this run of 3 goals in 9 minutes, the first team all day to kick 3 unanswered majors. Can the Blues find a response? O'Keefe to Binns to try something outside of the boot. White's kick 2. Indecisive, and that opened the door for Markov to smother and pinch it. Quick hand to foot was Lane. Richards judged it better on the 3rd bite than Cowan. Inboard for Allen, who put the knee up. That was dangerous. And the free kick will go the way of the Blues as such. Archie Stevens has run from the back. Ramshaw Is there a hold on Lambert? You bet. Cooper McDonald, he and Lambert played against each other in an Eastern Football League Grand Final in 2022. Lambert was on the right side of the result on that occasion for Noble Park. He was on the right side of this decision. In a similar vein to the likes of Carmichael and Hutchinson in the Collingwood lineup. It's not about volume for a player like Bailey Lambert, but hitting when the target appears. Can touch 7 become goal 2 and keep the Blues in this. It's shallow, but good enough. Bailey Lambert with 2 on day 1 as a Blue.
Amy replay shows it's just that little tug of the jumper when Lambert was going for that marking contest. Looked like that kick was going to fall short, but it's gone through, and that's all that matters. Back to 10 points.
So as fatigue builds amongst the players and the game resets in these situations, 6-6-6 becomes so important.
Exactly, if you can win the centre clearances like that.
Which Begg does. Gets a deep entry too for Carmichael. Bends it. It's going to run across the face. Blues have been so resilient all afternoon. Collingwood have made a move on a number of occasions, and the Blues have managed to reel them in. Can they do so again? We're midway through this final term. Margin sits at 10 points. Ned Long's changed the jumper. He's now in 77. After that last skirmish, left him with a ripped 55. Long against O'Keefe. Long just hacks it out of the air. Oh.
Long now in jumper number 77 after that rip. He's been good again this afternoon.
So Ned Long now in number 77 after ripping that jumper. Just wondering how many times we can say it.
He's making sure that the audience back home...
If you've just tuned in the last 15 seconds.
He's been impressive again.
Lockie Young goes towards O'Keefe, runs underneath it, gets over the back. Here's McDonald by hand. Allen a fumble, under some pressure now. Swooping in to lay a tackle. Here's Cooper McDonald over the top of Farinado, and we'll have a ball up. Centre wing, 11-point game, 17 minutes gone, final term.
Christian Farinado with a good debut, 14 possessions so far as O'Keefe's kick was impeded. Ramshaw got it out to Stevens. Pies have got numbers back. Hartman in game 3 goes back with a flight. Dean away from Monahan. He's going to make Lane work for it. Here comes Binns, the fend off. And karate's it to Harrison. It wasn't the required 15. That is to Hutchinson, who didn't need to go. He's stripped. Huge turnover opportunity. Lewis to Monahan. The Blues lining up in board. Carl stepped into the traffic, but he had numbers there. Around the body. Lambert's got 3. Here come the Blues.
Wow. Classy finish from Lambert. They were queuing up. Someone had to kick it.
Situational awareness again, Brownie.
Exactly. Hutchinson, no need to have to play on quickly. Always swivel the head. But just Amy replay shows here, just Hutchinson, he tried to play on quickly, didn't need to, had no one to go to anyway. You turn the ball over there, they were absolutely queuing up in the corridor. Carl's been so lively, and so's this man, Lambert. Back-to-back goals, breathes life back into the Blues.
Smiles on the balcony amongst the Carlton AFL players watching on. It's been a fantastic game. It's back to 5 points. It was Collingwood by 5 at quarter time, Carlton by 5 at half time. We're still at 5. Ramshaw feeds it through to Marr. Just a bit much on it. Nelson wants to take on the tackler. Gets run down, gets one in the back from Sullivan.
Oh, it was a big, strong tackle. It was either holding the ball because he missed his boot, or in the back.
Luke Nelson, who's been at Richmond VFL. He's been at Coburg. Now he's at Carlton.
Yeah, I think that's the right call as well.
And the chance to put the Blues back in front once again after the Pies snuck out to a couple of goals in front.
Quick clearance puts pressure on the defence, and that's exactly what happened. They were scrambling.
He's blazed a couple of times today and missed. This for another lead change. What a game this is. Lead change number 13. Right on time on. And a game of this quality deserves a grandstand finish. Thirteenth lead change.
It looked like Collingwood had finally gained a big enough lead, 16 points. They had all the ascendancy, and then out of nowhere, the Blues go bang, 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 back in front, and centre clearances now are absolutely crucial.
3 and 6 minutes as Luke Power's team rolled back into it. The AFL team conceded a 16-point lead in time on yesterday afternoon. Now they're trying to reverse the deficit here. Ramshaw again out the front. On the rove, it's Lefroy with speed. Bobbling footy, Hartman under pressure. Glover will clear the danger, but perhaps only momentarily. Moyer almost got it with heavy taping on the right thigh. Wilson fighting for it, had the leg of Marr in the end. Umpire lets it go. And the ball is at halfway. The margin's 1 point, and we have had a treat. The Sunday of round 3, the early clubhouse leader for game of the year in the Smithies VFL of 2024. Phillips the clearance, almost for Lambert, who sprung to life. Stevens to White, the Bull Boys combine. Glover the spare.
He's positioned himself really well all afternoon down there, Glover. Every contest so important now, especially clearances.
Cowan almost affected the turnover, then lays the tackle on Sullivan.
He didn't know that the ball had dropped out. Cowan, unfortunately for him, he followed through with the tackle.
Sullivan, quick hands. Allen towards half forward. Push called. We'll come back to Tom Wilson.
It's got to play within your limitations. Everyone wants to be the player that does something spectacular to win the game, but you can't afford to give away free kicks like that.
Wilson goes for distance. Young sets himself at the front. The spoil came from Johnson. Taken by McRae. Tries to spin through the Cowan tackle.
So we've seen some fantastic tackling this afternoon. Strong, aggressive, with purpose. Good technique.
O'Keefe and Begg. It's been a great contest. Ramshaw picks it up, but nowhere to go. Sullivan takes him down. Ball still alive. Ricochets around. Long, smothered off his boot by Ramshaw. Harrison tries to feed it through. Working hard, Sullivan. Taken down in a tackle by Lefroy. Blues need to be careful.
You don't want to cough the ball up here. If you get the ball in your hands and you're a Blues player, don't just cough it up to a 50-50. Security, ball security, crucial.
Begg got a fingertip on it. Sullivan marched it forward. Young, Cowan flew high, landed awkwardly.
Cramped.
Bit of cramp and take some time out of the game. Blues don't have to move it quickly if there's no one on.
Release kick to Binns.
This is why we love the count up clock. How long left? Who knows?
Wait till we see some signs on the bench. Glover again, the spare. McDonald, support at the back lane. Bytel to Hutchinson, to Harrison, who's got speed. A bounce on the right, Young again in front. Got the chop from Carmichael.
Yeah, great positioning from Young, because he knew he was on the smaller opponent, so that kick had to be a little bit higher and get over the back, and he just backed his aerial ability.
Could Harvey have gone all the way?
He could have, yes.
Young needs to be precise, and is.
They're the decisions you have to make.
From Lewis to Lockie Young. Out towards the wing. McMahon, aerial presence been important. Didn't get a good bounce.
He's got cramp too, McMahon.
Bytel, here's a chance for the Pies to build up. Sullivan. Allen calling for it at centre-half forward. Instead, Sullivan will go wide to the lead of Hutchinson. Carlton get back in number. Liam McMahon down with cramp on the far wing. So they are a man down at the moment. Begg will have it 55 from goal as we hit the 25-minute mark of the final term, and it's the Blues by a point. Begg signals he's going to go long.
Johnson's
loads up to the square. It gets over the back. No Carlton player touched it, but fortunately for them, it goes the left side of the post, and we are level again.
Fatigue really starting to kick in. Warm afternoon. A lot of players going down with cramp now.
Lockie Cowan looks west, kicks north to Lewis Young.
No real urgency from the Blues here.
4 intercept marks for the former Bulldog. He was casual in his approach. O'Keefe. Dean was a flyer for the Pies. It's trapped at his feet. Long is stripped and held on to. Markov met his match in Mar. Out of the octagon goes Long to Dean. Kick is wide. Hutchinson against the line, kept it in, goes around the body, and Long did well to duck around Ramshaw, who was transfixed on the footy.
He just read it better in flight. Long got around his direct opponent and take all the time in the world now, go back and have a shot and know that you're going to put your team in front.
So if it's flying to the line here, Brownie, you're a defender, normally you're going to belt it through. In this situation, are you actually going to roll the dice and belt it forward so there's no score?
You'll try and keep the ball in play here if you can. If you do concede it behind, at least you're going to get the ball back and go straight up the middle.
A thumping kick is Ned Long, almost representative of his stat line for the VFL last Saturday.
Okay.
Puts Collingwood in front. We have our 14th lead change of the afternoon.
Every team has scenarios here that they do at training all the time. They used to be just a long kick straight up the middle, but sides are now identifying one side of the ground.
Let's see what the Blues have got. Young does go long up the middle. McMahon got hands to it. Markov at the back. Can they get out here, the Blues? Good solid contact from McDonald. Went one way, Nelson went the other.
Big play from the Pies too, just to lock that in, because Carlton, a couple of the Blues forwards spat forward on that occasion. You can't get caught ball watching. Find your direct opponent.
O'Keefe wants space, but it's all Pies out that side. Richards inside 50. Lewis Young turns around, sees where his man's at, then flips back to Lemmy, who throws it on the boot. Doesn't get it all. Pies in good position here. Tracking it back, Allen. Moyer got a bad bounce and looks to have hurt his left knee. He's gone down.
Just cramp.
Lemmy inside 50, it gets over the back. Lockie Young throws it on the boot. Big ball to win in the middle of the ground. Bouncing football, who does it favour? White can't get onto it, but he does lay a tackle on Long. Quick handball to Jath. He fires it back. It's still in dispute in the middle. Ramshaw committed the body, tries to win the football. Head over it is Richards. Putting the body in again, Ramshaw. Richards is sore. And at the end of all of that, it's going to be a desperate scramble for a ball up.
Blues desperate to keep that ball alive, while the Pies, they just want to smother it.
You can frame that stretch of play, and it's exhibit A of what we've experienced for the last 2 3/4 hours. What a match it's been. Nelson, while lying down, Allen missed it. Marr almost into his back. Carlton advance the footy 10 metres their way.
So Pies want to keep it in nice and close. And if you're O'Keefe here, you just try and move your ruckman and slap it into a bit of space.
Blues with the last 3 goals.
McRae now down sore as well. They're dropping everywhere.
We haven't had a major since the 20-minute mark. O'Keefe versus Long in the ruck. The scrum ensues. How does Carlton generate something from this?
Over the spare down back, and the Blues forwards are trying to get around him to make a contest.
Long tries to body O'Keefe out of it. Sullivan couldn't spin. He gets it from Sparks. Hand in from Allen. Cowan without it. Whistle packed away. Allen's kick wide. It ricochets off Wilson. Up to Sullivan. Can he find a target? He can. That's precise. Right when it's needed for Sparks.
Now Collingwood can control it. Blues will need to man up all over the ground. That one's not considered 15. Trouble here for Allen. It comes back to Sparks. He's wrapped up. How will the umpire see this? Ball it up.
Yeah, really good umpiring. That kick went about 7 metres, not the required 15. So, again, the Pies just want to try and smother this ball.
We've hit 30 minutes. Begg. Off hands. Allen. O'Keefe tries to slap it forward. It comes to McRae. High kick. Johnson will set himself. He'll be happy with the line. This is really good football from Collingwood, chewing time off the clock.
And territory as well, which is important. If you just, the Blues mid here, you roll the dice. It's as simple as that. You tap the ball over the back into some space.
Need someone to come running through off the back of the stoppage. Is it Tom Phillips? He's set up for it. Needs some movement. Someone on the run here to get it out. O'Keefe couldn't quite. High shot. Frustration there for Stevens. But again, it'll give Collingwood a chance to control it. Sparks will get up and take his time.
He can go backwards if he wants. He's got Glover down.
Charlie Dean is the deepest back, but he'll take ground. Young's there to mark it for the Blues. He does. Has to put it into overdrive.
He's just got to go into the corridor.
Attacking, but it's going to be coughed up. Hutchinson through his fingertips. Harrison on a meandering run to try and finish it off. No, it's out of bounds on the full. The Blues get the ball back in hand, and they've got to march this 150 metres quick smart.
There's no one on the mark too, so he can run and play on and have a bounce.
Young is a driving kick. McMahon almost. Long, of course. Got boots a ball and gets it done for the Pies. 24 goals, 14 lead changes, a Sunday feast to enjoy. Collingwood prevail by a solitary point. And the players are simply spent. A game that ticked every box and had everything. Injuries on both sides. We'll try and get an update on the status of some of those players who missed the lion's share of the game.
It was really